It would expand housing options in the community, which is super valuable, and there's high demand for new kinds of housing. Increased density is very important for urban sustainability. Again, the whole, by being an ecological development, you know, it helps just create, it helps improve our global environment. It could, in fact, one of the cool things is when you read these stories is that these co-housings often become a little hub in the community where there's all these interesting people living and they're doing cool things together, and it becomes almost like a place for social change, which is exciting to us to live in a place like that, that's seen like that by its community. Durable quality development is always a good thing. And this is one that we're really excited about, is the Demonstration Center for Sustainable Living. Part of our vision. Keep going? Okay. How does it typically happen? Okay, so this is the process that is most typically recommended in these co-housing books. And again, lots and lots of case studies, and so many of them go through exactly the same process. So it seems like we should pay attention and see, you know, if we want to learn from this process or not. But typically, what will happen is that a small group, like a core group, will form a co-housing development entity, usually a nonprofit, and basically collect lots of other people to join that, become members. And at some point, they will find a co-housing consultant or facilitator to help with the whole design of the process and how do you work together, what are you looking for, and so on. And the people who wrote this book are, of course, examples of people who do that. Set up a project management team. So this is a large initiative. This is a multi-million-dollar initiative. You need some people to get together, put on the thinking caps, do a business plan, you know, really work to manage the project. And so that could be residents, or it could be a group that is hired by the residents to work with them. Create a vision and business plan, find possible sites around town. I'll show you a slide in a little bit that shows a lot of possible sites around Bridgewater. At that point, once there's a bit of a vision and an idea, okay, this is what we're generally trying to create, the group will retain an architect and or developer and or builder. And the idea is that with these professionals, you can design something that's really high quality and that meets everybody's needs. With those professionors, the group will go through a design process. So everything from how many units to you know, what color are the countertops, and everything in between gets designed in a very cohesive process. And once the design is done, we'll finalize the finances and the legal stuff, mortgages, permits, whatever is required, construction, and then once all is said and done, the group moves in. Typically, from start to finish, what we're reading about is that the process can take approximately 2 to 4 years, which, in my opinion, is really quite fast, and a timeline that we're quite excited about. So, yeah, it seems to match our interests and so on. So I've got this photo up here because this is from a co-housing development where they're actually going through their design process right now. And this is one of the most exciting parts and the most creative parts of the process, is working with the group of potential residents to really design all parts of it and make it the way that you want to see it. So I'm really looking forward to going through something like that. And typically it goes in stages, that design process, in a way that really makes sense to design a community. So starting with overall size and characteristics, and I think this is really smart, but they will always design the common house first, and then design the individual units, the private units after that. And the reason for that is that if you design the common house first and everyone puts all their energy and all their enthusiasm into that, then it'll be really big and beautiful. And then people will say, oh, well, I don't need a second living room or a fourth bedroom and stuff like that. So basically, by really focusing attention here, you know, these can become more modest and really work together with that common house. Final layout and landscaping and details. And of course, as all of these physical things are being planned, the group will also plan the social relationships that define how the co-housing works, things like how meals are done, how shared spaces are used, and so on. So, I think it's Cate's turn to wrap things up.
All right.
Okay.
So, cohousing in Bridgewater. So this, Leon spoke, I guess, a general overview of what cohousing is and what it can be, and this now is a bit more focused on the early steps that we've taken to kind of envision something for Bridgewater. And we're putting this out there, and it may we expect it to change as more people join us. But here's what we've got right now. So we want to do a co-housing in Bridgewater, and I guess what are we calling it? Minimum specifications or whatever. I don't know. These aspects of our housing vision are really important to us. That it uses ecological design in the process, that it is in a central location where we can minimize car use and access the amenities. We hope for it to be diverse and multi-generational, so open and welcoming to lots of different types of people and families. We're thinking 8 to 15 housing units. That's considered a small co-housing based on what we've read. It's bigger than our original vision a year ago about what we were maybe interested in creating. Partially this number has grown from 4 or 5 to this number because what we've learned about economies of scale, affordability, and also cohesiveness of community and working together seems to be better at this kind of number. And we are interested in involving professionals in the process. So originally we were thinking 4 or 5 units, oh, we can do it ourselves, DIY. And we're not as interested in that anymore. We are thinking to have this happen in a timeline that seems reasonable and to ensure that it's really high quality development. We are interested in involving consultants, developers, architects, etc. in the process. So that's kind of where we're at in terms of putting our vision out there, and where we are is right now we are 2 people, and we would really like to grow our core team. We don't need all 8 units, 8 people to live in 8 units. We don't need that right away. But we do need a group of 4 to 6 people at least who are really committed to this and who want to work with us to start that process that Leon talked about. So yes, we're looking for the core team in terms of who may want to live there. We're also looking to grow our network of supporters, so people who can help us who may or may not live there in the end, but who have skills and knowledge that we can tap into. We're continuing to educate ourselves and learn as much as we can about co-housing. And yeah, these are the things that will come once we have that core group together to search for some of these resources and to be really conscious and deliberate about the group process that we set up. And as Leon mentioned, nothing's designed yet. We're not sure what this is going to look like exactly, and that's what we'll do with this core team. And although it's really tempting to look for land, we've
already been approached.
We are not actively looking for land at this moment, even though it's really tempting to do that. Because we want to have these other things in place and have a group together to do that. We have met with the town planner in Bridgewater and talked a bit about some of the land that is available. All the red and blue are vacant land properties in Bridgewater right now. The red ones are serviced, which means they have, like sewer and water hooked up already. But as you can see, even though Bridgewater, even in the downtown, there are still pockets of land that are quite sizable and empty. So, forming core team. yeah, I'm not going to go into detail about this. Other than that, that's kind of where we're at right now, and that our role is to be part of this core team and facilitate that early process. But we hope that we can become, transition from being the sort of the initiators to being members of this core team as soon as we have some more folks. Is that it? That's it. So, yeah. Oh yeah, so this is Bridgewater. This is like.
This is Bridgewater.
This
Just
is,
ignore the map.
Yeah. Here's the rivers.
We're also building mountains. That's after this project.
So, if there's questions, we can take those. We would like to take a break and have some fruit and some drink and some stretch, and then come back together and chat. But if there's any questions right now that you're worried you're going to forget, or